Coming up next on BG24 News.
Warm weather and a wintry mix prompted a flood warning in Wood County. We'll tell you if your spring break commute will be affected.
Saturday marks the one-year anniversary of a tragic car crash that killed 3 BGSU students. We've got tips to keep you safe on the highway this spring break.
And the music sensation is coming to Bowling Green. We'll tell you how to get tickets to see Bob Dylan.
Plus, a look at your Black Swamp weather forecast and BG24 sports. Welcome to your campus and community connection.
Live local news starts right now. This is BG24 News, live at 5:30.
Hello everyone, I'm Christina Hebner.
And I'm Madeline Fenning. Our top story tonight. Wood County is under a flood warning tonight. Rain, snow, and a mixture of both prompted weather officials to place Ottawa County, Sandusky County, and Wood County on a warning. The National Weather Service made the call after floodwaters in some locations rose to almost 10 feet this morning. Flood stage is at 9 feet. The Weather Service says to avoid driving through flooded areas. Weathercaster Dale Summers will have more information later in the show.
Legendary musician and cultural icon Bob Dylan is coming to BGSU this spring. Dylan will perform at the Show Center on April 21st at 8 p.m. His performance is on behalf of the American Red Cross's Northwest Ohio fundraiser. Dylan has been active in music for more than 5 decades. Dylan's songs became anthems for U.S. civil rights and anti-war efforts in the 60s. Tickets go on sale on March 8th at the Show Center and on Ticketmaster.com.
3 BGSU sorority sisters were killed when traveling for spring break last year. Reporter Megan Gallagher talks with a driving instructor about how to keep you safe during your spring break travels.
Traveling for spring break always poses the issue of safety, whether driving or not. Unfortunately, this subject is all too familiar for BGSU, as 3 sorority sisters were killed in a freak accident on their way to the airport for their trip to the Dominican Republic with 2 other sisters last year.
Their life was cut short by tragedy, and these things happen every day out there on our highways, and that's why we at Trainco train drivers to be more professional in their trucking industry. And anytime you can get more training is always a better thing.
Moshensky says that safety is a big issue he teaches his students at his school in Perrysburg to try and prevent from future accidents.
Rights and lefts and safe lane changes and how to do good traffic checks, and to, and most importantly, maintain some good following distance, because most accidents out there happen are rear-end collisions, and that's one of the high impact areas.
He also warned students what they can do.
Always drive defensively. Make certain that you have your lights on and that you use your signals so that others see what you're doing and what your intentions are, and then make certain that you do good regular traffic checks. The best way to stay out of trouble is to drive into space and be aware of your surroundings.
So while tragedy can sadly never be avoided, BGSU students can remember how to be safe while remembering those they have loved. Reporting for BG24 News, I'm Megan Gallagher.
In lighter spring break news, some university students are doing something out of the ordinary for their week off. Reporter Aisha Mitchell tells us these students are making their spring break an adventure.
Not all students at BGSU choose to hit the beach for spring break. Numerous departments at the university have set up alternative spring break trips for students who may enjoy fun a little differently. Dr. Catherine Casara of the Journalism Department teaches an international seminar journalism class that focuses on public relations. This trip takes students all the way to Paris, France for a week.
The students are going to get to go to Paris and meet with the people who do PR for Euro Disney, with some of the really huge agencies who do PR for French municipal services.
On this trip, students will get an experience that they would not have gotten anywhere else.
When they hear from French media people, it really makes real things that normally we're just talking about in class. So it's a very valuable experience. Plus, they make connections with people who say, well, give me your card. If you want an internship, just get in touch with me.
Gordon Rickens, director of the Arts Village, has been taking students on a 6,000-mile road trip for the past 10 years.
It started as for an alternative, essentially, for students just taking off and going to Florida and getting silly. I thought that there are things that we could do that would be a lot more beneficial and educational. And so
the students on this trip work with the artists in the Navajo Reservation, a Chicano reservation in San Diego, and they also visit art schools in San Francisco. The trip's primary focus is art and culture, but it's also meant to transform the students.
But it's bigger than that because it's transformative in nature because it's uncomfortable, and you leave your cell phones behind, you leave your iPod behind, you leave all that stuff behind, packed away, and you go on this trip. And when you get to these places, you're free. Your mind's not cluttered.
The students are not only learning nationally, but internationally as well. They're taking away experiences that cannot be taught only in the classroom. For BG24 News, I'm Aisha Mitchell.
The first co-ed a cappella group at BGSU is trying to make a name for itself. Reporter Jacqueline Gideon tells us how a freshman wants to leave his legacy.
A music education major has found a way to gain teaching experience while doing what he loves. Michael Moisenko and two others, Noah Jones and JJ Lester, formed an a cappella group their freshman year. Not Yet Perfect performed songs such as Halo, Fix You, and Madness. The group has performed at 4 events since they started. Moisenko says it started out rough, but is becoming more of an adventure.
I think I got a very disoriented family in there, and they love it, and I love it, so.
Not Yet Perfect is a student-directed, student-run organization. Moisenko says when they want to show off, they sing for the dorm front desk. Not Yet Perfect practices 3 times a week. The songs they sing range from 80s to modern. The 11 group members range from freshmen to seniors.
It's kind of a really cool collaboration of individuals, but who are all really into music.
Jones hopes Not Yet Perfect will make it to the International Championship of Collegiate A Cappella. Reporting for BG24 News, I'm Jacqueline Gideon.
Not Yet Perfect is working on their new song, Mercy by Duffy. And now let's check in with Dale Summers with the weather. Dale?
Thank you, Christina. Ohio State issued a flood warning this morning for certain counties, and Wood County is one of those. With floodwaters reaching up to 9 feet and 8 inches, any students planning on heading home early for break need to be careful when driving through flat lands. Current temperatures are a little bit below 40 degrees, so if anyone wants to know what temperatures will be like for their spring break, stay tuned later.
Thanks, Dale. Coming up next.
The Oaks held a cooking workshop yesterday. We'll see how much students know about food.
And we'll talk with the USG president and vice president in the studio after the break. Stay with us. It is the first time in 20 years that a USG president and vice president have sought re-election. Joining me to talk about their re-election campaign is Alex Salas and David Neely.
Thank you for having us.
Yeah, thank you so much for coming in, you guys. So how does it feel to know that you are the first pair in 20 years to run again? What is it that's motivated you to, try to give this another shot?
Do you want to start off? Yeah, I think when looking at the re-election campaign, it's something that reminds us that we've done so much, we want to do so much more. When Dave and I took office last year, we were fortunate enough to be elected coming into our junior year, and not many candidates have had that opportunity. So now we just kind of want to build off that.
Wonderful. Do you think that, your prior experience for the past year maybe might give you an advantage?
I definitely think so. Being in this role for a year now, I've had a lot of opportunity to learn the layout of the university as a whole and listen to a lot of student input, and that's really what's driven us to be successful this year is the students.
So you said you've learned a lot the past year being able to be in the positions that you're in. What do you think is maybe the most important or surprising thing that you've learned in your elected offices?
Expect the unexpected. That's definitely one thing. Just recently, the union tried to pass a new policy for student registration, and no one really expected that to come up, and it was really going to have a detrimental effect on students. But after listening to the students' concerns, we were able to resolve that in a timely fashion.
Was that the first time that you guys experienced maybe a friction against the administration? Because to my understanding, you guys were against the policies that the administration was trying to put in place with union registration.
Absolutely.
How was that, knowing that you had a difference in opinion?
I think it was not always fun, but that wasn't the first time. I think there was a handful of times this year where we had to go against the administration, especially when it comes to tuition talks, fees, union policy. It's always voicing the student, the student opinion. Not only trying to make the political move, but you make the move that's best for students. It's not always fun to be across that table sometimes.
Absolutely, no, I understand. So what do you guys think in the past year is the most important thing that you guys have accomplished, or something that you think is going to last the longest even after you guys leave next year?
Personally, I think that starting off our term last year, we had a student come to us initially and with a project called Operation Tiger, and we kind of took that under our wing and really used that as a foundation of interacting with the administration and working with the student voice and making sure that they knew that they would be heard through our administration. And we worked with the CIO, John Ellinger, and we currently have 100% post-consumer recycled paper at all printers on campus used by students, and that'll continue for as long as we know. So.
Absolutely. So what do you think maybe was the hardest thing that you guys have learned this past year, that maybe something that was difficult with the administration, or something that you think is going to continue to be a challenge even next year if reelected? What do you guys think is going to be just the most difficult thing you're going to have to face?
I think it comes down to enhancing the student experience. I think in times with being a state school, tuition's always on the docket, state funding keeps on getting cut, so how do we make this an affordable education for students, but more importantly, how do you make Bowling Green a special place to be, inside, outside the classroom? So not only talking about your academic learning experience, but what keeps you here on campus until you come here and then until you graduate.
Very cool, nice. Now you guys value being a voice for students and really getting to know your fellow classmates. How is it that you guys plan in the future to get to know students on a more personal level?
I mean, on a more personal level, just talking to students every day. I mean, being in the BG News and on BG24, there's just been so much more interaction with students, them recognizing us on campus now and them not being afraid to approach us, knowing that we're approachable and always listening to their ideas, frustrations, and whatever really makes them tick, I guess.
Absolutely. And how is it that you guys plan on getting to know students on a more personal level? I know I read recently that you guys want to be able to know students in a one-on-one interactive experience. So how is it that that's going to go down? You're just going to be in the union and walk up to students and just say, hey, let's get lunch? Or how do you guys plan on doing that?
That'd be ideal, but I think mostly it's, last campaign we said we want to be the voice for every student, but now we want to expand that. So create that movement of change one conversation at a time. So that means increase our cabinet, increase transparency, be more visible, more importantly, support other student organizations, university events, make sure we can do what we do in our position to help others on campus. So that includes Res Life, that includes commuter students, engaging students who we may often engage on an everyday basis. I'm not a commuter, David's not a commuter, we don't live in res halls, but how can we get out there, talk to students, hear their concerns, and then hopefully that can help us do our job better.
Absolutely. So what's your big plan for coming up next with the re-election? Do you guys plan on marketing maybe new strategies or ideas that you have for your campaign or for your term next year, or what is it that we can expect next?
Absolutely. I think coming back one more time for another election is a very difficult thing, because you want to tell students we've done so much, but more importantly, like you said, we want to look forward to what else to do. So I think marketing our platform, talking about our strategy, and getting out there to talk to students and hear their concerns, because our platform for what we want to accomplish next year should not be our ideas, it should be the students' ideas. So that's how I plan to do it.
Absolutely. Well, it sounds like you guys have got wonderful things ahead of you, and we wish you all the best of luck in the re-election.
Appreciate
and
it.
We will be up to date with the news as to who's going to be our next Vice President and President of USG. So thank you guys so much for coming on
Appreciate
today.
it.
Thank you very much.
Wonderful. Coming up next, we've got your weekend forecast. Find out if the wintry weather will stick around. Stay with us.
Live local forecast with BG24 Black Swamp weather.
Good evening, Wood County. I am Dale Summers here with your Black Swamp weather forecast. This morning, Ohio State issued a flood warning for Wood County. Flood warnings are issued when flood levels get above 9 feet. Currently, flood levels for Wood County are at 9 feet and 8 inches. So any students planning on getting a head start to get home for spring break, please be careful when driving through lowlands, because that is where you're most likely to come in contact with a lot of flooded roads. Current temperatures are a little bit below 40 degrees. It feels closer to 30 degrees, and winds are coming in between the north and northwest at 13 miles per hour. Tonight, temperatures will be dropping to the mid-20s. It will be mostly cloudy. Winds will have picked up their speed coming through the north at 19 miles per hour. Humidity will be at a high 78%, however, the chance of precipitation is only 20%. Tomorrow, temperatures will be around 30 degrees and it will be cloudy. Winds will have dropped down to about 12 miles per hour, chance of precipitation will still remain at 20%. Temperatures will drop about 10 degrees for tomorrow night. It will be mostly cloudy. Winds will be coming in through the north at 11 miles per hour. Humidity is at 68%. However, the best part about tomorrow night is that chance of precipitation is at 0%. So all the rain and snow we've been getting from the past 3 days, we can be sure not to experience tomorrow. Average temperature for February 28th is about 40 degrees. That's a little bit warmer than what we're experiencing today, and unfortunately that will remain to be warmer than the temperatures we'll be experiencing for the next 5 days. So unfortunately, temperatures for spring break will not be that warm. Looking at the temperatures from the Toledo and the Bowling Green area, they're relatively stable, remaining at the high 30s. However, if one heads further east, temperatures will drop down to the low 30s. There's not a lot of rain currently coming over Bowling Green. There's a little bit of a mixture of rain and snow, so hopefully that'll pass by really quickly. Looking closer east towards Wellington and Oberlin, we can see that they are experiencing some light snowfall. Most of the precipitation happening in the United States is over by Wisconsin and Oregon. They're experiencing medium to heavy rainfall. Looking over, from New York down to West Virginia, we can see that they're experiencing a mixture of rain and snow. Temperatures for the next 5 days will peak at Saturday, reaching up to about 40 degrees. However, they will continue to drop down throughout the next 3 days. Monday and Tuesday, they will remain about 33 degrees. Clouds will go away and finally give us some sun by Monday. However, the clouds will be coming back, so if you want to go out of state for spring break, I wouldn't blame you.
Wow, it looks like the weather is just sort of up and down, but it looks like it's almost, like spring might be kind of coming in the
getting there.
Nearest kind of future. So it's just like winter's having their one last little hurrah before spring.
Good thing spring break is next week and people can get out of here.
Absolutely, I completely agree.
Officials removed a video of BGSU fraternity members performing a popular dance. It's called the Harlem Shake and went viral earlier this month. Fraternity member Misha Tott taught his own version in the student union this week. It was removed only 2 days later. Fraternity officials say they removed it because of obscene dance moves. They say the dance moves could cast the fraternity in a negative light. Members wore the Greek letters in the video. Tott says he did not mean any harm.
The Oaks held a cooking workshop last night to teach students the basics of cooking. The workshop got us thinking about food. We go to reporter Gemma Schultz to see how much students know about food. Gemma?
Thanks, Madeline. I'm here at the Oaks in honor of the cooking workshop, asking people trivia questions about food. True or false, trans fats are good for you?
Ooh, false.
Correct, you got it right. You get a lanyard, here you go. All right, what veggie helps cold symptoms?
Carrots.
Good try, but it's onions.
All right, good to know.
So what type of cooking is the most unhealthy?
Fried. Deep frying?
Yes, you got it right. You guys each get a lanyard.
Team lanyard.
There you guys go. Thank you. See, that was easy. What fruit is made up of 25% air?
That's a good question. An apple.
You got it right. There you go. Woo! What is the only food that will never go bad?
Spam.
It's honey, but good try. What is another word for maize?
Corn.
Boom, you got it right.
Maize? I was thinking of
BGSU, go
like a puzzle.
That's it for the cooking trivia. Reporting for BG24 News, I'm Gemma Schultz.
Thanks, Gemma. Dining Services will celebrate Commuter Appreciation Week when students return after spring break.
And now sportscaster Jacqueline Elliott joins us for a look at BG24 Sports. Jacqueline?
Thanks, Christina. Coming up next, men's basketball took down Miami, and women's basketball looks to make a push for the MAC tourney. Also on the agenda, a look ahead at your upcoming Falcon sports. All that and more coming up next on BG24 Sports.
It's unFalcon believable coverage that you won't get anywhere else. This is BG24 Sports.
Welcome back to BG24 Sports. I'm Jacqueline Elliott. The Miami Redhawks came to town last night to face the Falcons in a crucial MAC East Division matchup. Early in the first half, Calhoun is double-teamed but dishes it to Crawford for 3. BG leads 4-2. Krause at the top of the key dishes it off to Crawford for the mid-range pull-up. Crawford will go on to lead the Falcons with 19 points. Miami will answer right back with a nice spot-up three-pointer by Allen Roberts. Javon Clark comes down and splits the defense for the easy layup. With 30 seconds left in the first half, Calhoun with the block, rebounded by Cameron Black, who passes it to Crawford for the easy lay-in. BG's down 7 at the half. In the second half, Cameron Black gets in on the action with the mid-range jumper, but defense will be the story for the second half. Here's Holmes with his second block on the game. Late in the second half, Calhoun seals the deal with a three-pointer from the corner. Falcons go on to win it 52-44. BG is currently the number 5 seed and will earn a bye in the MAC tournament.
It was a huge sense of urgency. We talked in the locker room and said we got to do what it takes to win, no matter what it is. We got to find a way. It's winning time now, and each game we got to win. So that's what we took in our heads and went with it.
BG football coach Dave Clausen announced a change in coaching staff yesterday. Robert Nevesera and Alex Stadler have officially joined the coaching staff. Nevesera was named linebacker coach, and Stadler will join as a graduate assistant. The BG women's swim team will head to the MAC championship this week, hosted by the University of Buffalo. The Falcons closed their regular season with back-to-back wins over Akron and Youngstown State. BG will head to Buffalo with a 1-4 record in the MAC and 7-7 overall. Good luck, ladies. And now, a look ahead at your jam-packed weekend full of Falcon sports action. BG Ice Hockey will close out their regular season with a trip to Notre Dame this weekend. After splitting the series with Northern Michigan last Friday, the Falcons look to close their season off with a sweep. The Fighting Irish are currently 19-12-3 overall and 15-8-3 in the CCHA. The first matchup is set for Friday at 7:35. The women's basketball team is looking to make a final push for the MAC Conference Division title tonight as they face off with Buffalo. The Falcons entered the game 8-5 in the MAC and 17-9 overall, and they're currently tied with Miami University for second place in the division. BG is currently 9-4 at home and look to improve upon that tonight as they host Buffalo, as well as on Sunday as they host Ohio University at 3 p.m. BGSU baseball will head to Tennessee Tech this weekend for a 3-game series with the Golden Eagles. The Falcons are currently on a 4-game losing streak and have an overall record of 2-4. The series kicks off a spring break road trip for the team as they will head to Florida next weekend for 4 games. That's all for BG24 Sports, and back to you guys at the desk.
And now Dale Summers is back for a last look at weather. Dale?
Thank you, Madeline. Temperatures will be rising up until Monday, where they'll get up to about 39 degrees. However, throughout the next few days, they'll drop back off. So, we might get some warm weather, but get back to colder weather. Friday, we will see some cloud coverage, and that will continue until Monday when the sun will finally make a breakthrough. However, the clouds will come back for Tuesday. So, if anyone wants to go on vacation for spring break, I wouldn't doubt them and let them go wherever they want to go to get some warm weather.
Absolutely. I really typically find that people who are upset that others are going out on spring break are just jealous that they're not going to be in the sun, because it tends to stay almost like it's just winter up here during spring break.
Freezing cold. Nobody wants to be in Ohio.
You think we'd be done with snow by now, late February. But
absolutely.
Yeah.
Well, for Madeline Fanning, Dale Summers, Jacqueline Elliott, I'm Christina Hepner. Thanks for watching.
If you have any comments or story ideas, check out our BG24 News website at bg24news.org.
BG24 News returns March 12th, but we'll keep you connected online at bg24news.org.
Have a safe spring break, everyone.